When I started this channel, my plan was to talk about the writing quality of the latest sludge coming out of Hollywood. It wasn't my intention to talk about politics. But unfortunately, modern Hollywood seems to believe that its purpose is to push political messaging in its stories, so it's kind of impossible to critique modern movies without falling into some political talk now and then. I fully intend to focus my attention on mocking the bad writing and praising the good, as I've tried to do so far on this channel. We'll be back on track before you know it, trust me, I don't want to divide. But sometimes there is an overtly political release that has enough relevance to the landscape of entertainment that it's worth covering. So if you don't want to hear anything political from a media critique YouTube channel, honestly, good on you. Stop watching now, and I hope we'll see you for the next video. If talking about controversial topics is kind of your thing, well, let's talk about why people are so angry. I miss comedies, man. I haven't seen a movie that made me laugh in what feels like forever. Made me laugh on purpose, I mean, I was busting a gut during the Marvels. The comedy genre just seems dead. If I want to spend an hour and a half laughing at a movie, I have to go back to movies from the 2000s. Old School, Superbad, Wedding Crashers, The Hangover, Step Brothers, Mean Girls, Tropic Thunder, Dodgeball, I mean the list just goes on and on. But post-2009, I struggle to think of a comedy that really got me going. Deadpool, but that just feels different, because I think of it as a superhero movie first. The Nice Guys is good, but it's nothing like Anchorman. We're the Millers is decent, 21 Jump Street has some moments. I didn't like Bridesmaids, but I know other people really do. Movies just aren't funny anymore. Because we're not allowed to make jokes anymore. Not really, when offending certain people is the ultimate sin to so many. So yeah, obviously this video is about the Daily Wire's new movie, Lady Ballers. The trailer had people on Twitter up in arms, of course, because, as Dave Chappelle just came out and said in 2020,
the rule is that no matter what you do in your artistic expression, you are never, ever allowed to upset the alphabet people.
If you're not aware, the movie is about a bunch of guys who decide to identify as female and play basketball against women so they can finally win some games. I can't believe that offended people, wow. Now, I struggled to decide how to approach discussing this trailer, but then I came across this little gem of an article and realized it could help me make my argument better than I ever could on my own. So let's see what you have to say, Miss Rude. Probably already off to a bad start, assuming May's a miss. It's a well-known fact that right-wingers cannot make good art and don't have a sense of humor. Oh wow, I didn't know that. But I guess it makes sense. I mean, Disney is churning out flop after flop, and we know that corporation is full of right-wingers making the decisions. And SNL's declining ratings are probably because it's not left-wing enough. Truthfully, though, she's half right. Right-wingers can't make good art, but that's because they can't really make any art. They're not allowed to. I mean, Neil McDonough was blacklisted from Hollywood because he refuses to do sex scenes. Because he's married. I don't know, it doesn't seem like an insane boundary to me. The Daily Wire is reminding us all of that with the new preview for its first feature-length comedy film, Lady Ballers. In a world where women's sports is being transformed, the Daily Wire calls foul with the most triggering comedy of the year. The trailer for Lady Ballers starts. If you can beat 'em, join 'em. The premise of Lady Ballers seems to be that any out-of-shape 50-year-old white man is, by nature of being a man, a better athlete than any woman could ever hope to be. You see, women are just factually bad at sports, this movie states. Alright, first of all, nowhere in the trailer does anyone state that women are just factually bad at sports. Second of all, I think we need to give Miss Rude a refresher on the definition of satire. The use of humor, irony, exaggeration, or ridicule to expose and criticize people's stupidity or vices, particularly in the context of contemporary politics and other topical issues. See that word there, May? Exaggeration? This entire sentence could be replaced with, the premise of Lady Ballers is satire. Trust me, May, people aren't laboring under the impression that an out-of-shape 50-year-old white man could tear up the Women's World Cup. Nothing like that has happened. It's exaggerating real-life examples of conceptually similar situations to showcase the absurdity of them. It follows a high school basketball coach who gets his old team of guys who peaked in high school together to dominate a women's basketball league and other women's sports. It takes the false idea that anywhere at any time a cis man can claim he is a woman and enter any women's sporting event. But the fun doesn't stop there. It goes even further, saying that when cis men do that, they become unstoppable forces on the field. Look at you go, May, just setting up straw men and knocking them down. Anywhere, at any time, a cis man can claim he is a woman and enter any women's sporting event. Well, no. I mean, I can't enter a women's college sporting event because I'm no longer in college and I don't have any eligibility left. So, obviously, that's not true. And you're right, I can't just walk onto the field at the next U.S. women's national soccer team game and say, hey, I'm a woman, and go to town. But if we remove the absurd absolutism and the gender ideology language of cis from this sentence, it reads like this. It takes the false idea that a man can claim he is a woman and enter women's sporting events. That is true. It has happened many times. In fact, women have gotten very hurt because of it. It almost seems like the people who made the movie understand that if their premise was real, there would be real-life examples of groups of men like this taking over women's sports. There aren't. Well, I mean, I guess you're right in that there hasn't been an all-male WNBA team, but again, satire, exaggeration. If you take the words group of out of this sentence, well, many barriers in place for trans athletes, including hormone testing, time since coming out, and legal recognition of gender. Really? No federal laws exist defining any such rules. So states have their own guidelines in place. I'm sure some states have that rule, yeah, sure. But let's see what other states require. Illinois, legislation aimed at restricting the ability of transgender girls to play on girls' and women's teams has been introduced in Illinois, but has not passed. Massachusetts, a student shall not be excluded from participation on a gender-specific sports team that is consistent with the student's bona fide gender identity. Hawaii, the state has no law. Let's see here. California requires public schools to allow transgender students to access bathrooms and sports teams in accordance with their gender identity. No medical or legal requirements are stated. Colorado, no medical or legal requirements stated. Connecticut, no medical or New legal Hampshire, requirements.
no medical or
Oregon,
legal
no
requirements.
medical or
Vermont,
legal
no
requirements.
medical or
New
legal
Jersey,
requirements.
no medical or
Nevada,
legal
no
requirements.
medical or legal
Minnesota, no
requirements.
medical or legal requirements. Yeah, you're right. Those barriers are real tough. Even Leah Thomas, the University of Pennsylvania swimmer and possibly the most famous trans woman athlete in the world at the moment, was only ranked as the 32nd best female swimmer in Division I college swimming during her senior year. Oh, 32nd? Ah, well, yeah, never mind that Leah Thomas won a national championship as a female swimmer. But I'm curious, what was Leah Thomas ranked when Leah Thomas was Will Thomas? Interesting. Based on the trailer, it's not clear if director and star Jeremy Boring, co-founder of The Daily Wire, has ever written or acted before, or if he has ever met a woman in real life. Well, I bet he can give a definition for what a woman is, though. Every joke falls flat. Now, I doubt this movie is going to be phenomenal. I mean, look at the cast. It's a bunch of podcast hosts, an athlete, and Brett Cooper. They've got Billy Ray Brandt, who I think is a dating advice coach thing, whatever. You got Seth Dillon, who owns the Babylon Bee. None of these people are actors. Dude, Jordan Peterson is in this. Ha! Oh, that's awesome. Honestly, this seems like an extended Babylon Bee video, because according to Jeremy Boring, no actors would agree to be in it, even ones that had worked with the Daily Wire before and knew what they were about. Refer back to the Dave Chappelle line from earlier. I'll watch this movie, don't you worry. And I'd wager that I laugh at it quite a bit. But when I laugh, I have a feeling I'm going to be laughing at you, May. I'm going to be laughing at the morons in our society who pretend there's no difference between female athletes and male athletes. I'm going to be laughing with relief at the fact that somebody finally had the balls, pun absolutely intended, to mock one of the dumbest ideas in modern history. The trailer mocks women athletes. No, the trailer mocks women's basketball. Hey, quick, May, name 5 WNBA players without using the internet. I know girls who played basketball in college, and even they don't watch the WNBA. Feminists. Good. Dylan Mulvaney. Well, Dylan Mulvaney mocks women, so again, good. And indigenous people. You mean the indigenous people that people like you accuse of being racist against Native Americans? The indigenous people white saviors like you decided needed to be saved from the evil sports teams like the Indians and the Redskins, despite the fact that Native Americans seem to be fine with those names, and in fact they actually want them back. The indigenous people like Elizabeth Warren, who I'm again willing to bet my next paycheck is the target of this joke, in which case, that's pretty funny. It may surprise you to hear, May, that some of us actually recognize humor and don't scream to the heavens whenever we hear a joke at some group's expense. I'm a Christian. I believe in God and that Jesus Christ died on a cross and was raised from the dead 3 days later. And yet, I love comedians like Ricky Gervais and Jimmy Carr who constantly mock people who believe in God. Sometimes I think their religious jokes are actually kind of funny and witty, and other times I just say, not for me, and move on with my day. You should try it sometime. You'll find your days get ruined a lot less often. It claims that being trans age is a thing, and it just makes very little sense overall. Now, are you saying, May, that if I search trans age in Google, nothing's gonna come up? There haven't been any examples of people claiming that they identify as an age that they're not actually? Okay, sure, yeah, we'll go with that. If that wasn't enough to get you excited, the film also features a cameo from Ted Cruz. I have a feeling that May has never had a problem with any of the numerous cameos Hillary Clinton has made, but like she says, her problem is really with the lack of artistic value, and not with the politics. Right-wing talking head Matt Walsh playing a queer trans character. Look, if you can't find the humor in that, you're hopeless. I'm sorry. Matt Walsh, a man with the emotional range of a walnut high on heroin, who is famous for making a documentary criticizing the trans ideology, is playing a queer trans character. It's called irony. Please appreciate it. And appearances from anti-trans activists like Ben Shapiro and Riley Gaines. So, Riley Gaines is anti-trans because she advocates for biological males not stripping down in locker rooms in front of women and depriving women of the opportunity to excel at sports? I don't know, kind of sounds like she's just pro-women to me. So if watching middle-aged men in bad wigs beating up women and making fun of them is what gets your engine going, as it must for the people at the Daily Wire, check out Lady Ballers on the 4th-tier streaming service Daily Wire Plus, starting December 1st. Alright, well, hold on. The movie's not even out yet? You wrote this, when did you write this? You wrote this November 28th, and the movie came out December 1st. That's 3 days before. Wait, whoa. You're writing off a film before you've even seen it? How long do you guys think it would take for me to find something on this website defending Captain Marvel or some other woke release claiming the bad reviews were from incel trolls online review bombing it without ever having seen it? Alright, let's see here. Up here. Captain. Actually. Yeah, no, let's go, let's just go review bomb. I have a good feeling about this. I need some water, man. Let's see. Oh man, I could go through these headlines all day. Oh, this is it. I think this is gonna be it, guys. Let's see here. No, I don't. No, leave me alone. I got it. All right. Unfortunately, most of the hate being aimed at the show isn't just a huge overreaction to to a fairly good show with oh, sorry, with a lot of potential. But it's also led by, there it is, an angry mob of online trolls who haven't watched the show and wouldn't give it a fair shake if they did. Oh man, it was the first article, and oh my god, what the? Yo, chill, bro. What are you doing? It's written by May Rude. That's our friend. Oh my gosh. Oh man. Oh, that couldn't have been scripted any better. Okay, all right, Floopy. All right, relax. Now, I know I'll probably get the response, why do you even care? They're not hurting you. Well, I care because, as I've mentioned before in my videos, I was a college athlete. I've been around sports my whole life, and women's sports need to be separated from biological men. Due to physical differences, men's and women's sports are just fundamentally different. And that's good. In fact, I like some women's sports better than men's, especially volleyball. And no, it's not for the reason you think, weirdos. It's because in men's volleyball, they hit the ball so hard and it's so fast, points just go so quick. You don't get many exciting volleys like you do in women's volleyball. You know who understands that men and women shouldn't be competing together? Everyone who's ever been a legitimate athlete, especially women.
For me, men's tennis and women's tennis are completely almost two separate sports. So I'm like, if I were to play Andy Murray, I would lose 6-0, 6-0 in 5 to 6 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, because no, it's true. It's true.
Honestly, really.
It's a completely different sport. The men are a lot faster, and they serve harder, they hit harder. It's just a different game, and I love to play women's tennis, and I only want to play girls.
I care because my sister was a fantastic runner in high school. She set records, she was all state. One of the events she ran was the 800-meter run. My good friend from high school also ran the 800, so I texted him earlier this week and asked him what his best time was. And it was 8 seconds faster than my sister's record. So, did my friend break records? Did he win states? Nope. He didn't even go to districts. In fact, he was 4th on our team senior year, and no one on our team went to states for the 800. If he had been allowed to transition and run against my sister wouldn't have had the success that she did. I care about this because I love sports. They have been a foundational part of my life and have helped develop values that have pushed me to success later in life. Not to mention the friendships I made and the memories I have. Women deserve to experience those things too. And if more and more biological men are allowed to compete against them, they won't ever experience success like my sister did in high school and my friends did in college. And as far as why I care from an entertainment standpoint, like I said at the beginning of this video, I miss comedies. I miss laughing. We need to start making fun of everyone again, and we all need to get better at laughing at ourselves. Because at the end of the day, they're just jokes. Alright, so punch down, punch up, punch every which way, because no one is above humor. Not even starving people in Africa.
Hey, we've been driving out here every day with your food for like the last, 30, 40 years. And we were driving out here a day across the desert, and it occurred to us there wouldn't be world hunger if you people would live where the food is!